That's such a weird song. I can't wait to tell Kate. Weird song. There's Kit.
What are you...
Hey!
You can't wait to tell Kate.
It's just a weird song.
What?
It's just a really fucking weird song. Are you gonna change your background?
I don't know. Okay, let's see.
This song was, like, I'm getting ready to go on, and it's like, if you're gonna let me down gently. Like, water under the bridge. And I was like, what a fucking weird-ass song. Your love is like water under the bridge. And we're both picking, like, hairs off.
Yeah. With the book, I did go in and clean it off again.
Okay. True. We'll just do number 12's. Hey, you guys do this healing with us too, because you could probably use it. Say, if it's in my highest good, please activate or apply the number 12 healings. The get that oversoul, the fuck off me healings. The other mother healings. The backdoor doorstop removal healings. The intense energy vampire cleanse. And the like. To myself, my stuff, and everything else that's needed. Whew. And then undo anything I shouldn't have done. And secret secure that down. Closing statements and alignment healings. Yeah. What are you looking at, Kate?
Okay. The stuff that was being moved, and then I was like, the welded shut healing too.
Oh, yeah. And the welded shut healing, too. Add that in.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Kate today in text, and I was actually got inspired, and I asked Kate if she'd be interested in doing this. We've talked about this before. I know I like to say a lot of back-end stuff before I say the front-end stuff. Sometimes Kate will be like, are we on the same topic? And I'm like, yes, I need to give all the adjective of the things. I've asked Kate, I want to say thousands of times. It probably hasn't been. It's probably been like 3 or 4. If she would ever tell our like adventure story times of what we've been through the years, if she would ever want to tell it in her words. And there's been things that she's looked at and healed and worked around, and it just didn't feel, it's like it. She just doesn't do things that don't feel like Kate. And I had a session recently, and I was talking about with someone else. I was talking about, they asked, I casually mentioned the time I went manic. And they were like, the time you went manic? And that led me talking about that. And then they were like, well, how did you and Kate meet? And we've done a podcast where Kate and I talked about like things of how we met and stuff. But it was a bunch of things, our adventures and how, like what we've done, what we've been through. And then I texted with Kate today, and we were cracking up thinking of just like 3 or 4 of them that we ever went on. Just ridiculous. So Kate and I used to like, we had a session a long time ago, and we basically like tiptoed towards each other a little bit at a time. And then eventually it got to Kate and I talking on the phone for like 2 to 3 hours every fucking day, healing stuff. And then it was just like, just became friends, healing the things, and it just stayed. And we didn't live near each other, and we hadn't known each other since, before that. I don't know. How would you describe how we like energetically started working together?
Yeah, it was definitely like an explosion. I know I've talked about this before, but like now it's on a live. Ninja Creamy Swirl. Why did that come up in my notifications? New. Okay, sorry. I was like, what is that? Okay. Yeah, it was definitely like an explosion. It just like happened one day. I know that I want friends. And friends, I got.
Okay, so that comes along with the manic story. So I was telling Amanda, the person I was working with, about the time I went manic, where I was standing. I didn't know Kate at the time. It was like 2016, around there, and I was in my room, manic as shit. I was pulling out Archangel Michael's sword and like swinging away at like intrusions and stuff. So in Kate's world, she was like, she's very much like she's going to be alone. She was going to be alone forever.
Prep to be alone for the rest of my life. Never thought I'd find a significant other. Never thought that I would get friends. Just always the same cycle.
She even has a tattoo. On her left hand. Which she's removed all the, bindings and all the stuff from that or whatever. And so in her world, she just was like, what made you, like, you just got a ding that was like, I want friends, or I'm ready for them?
It's like, it's time for friends. Let's see, 2016, I think I was in Alaska at this point. I don't know, because it's been so much healing that I would have to, like, go back. Okay, so the cycle of the friend thing. So I'd already had a significant other at this point for 3 years, and so I knew that like
the same one that she's with.
Yes, and so like I knew that was like found, like got him type thing, like found this person. Oh, that's another thing I want to talk about too. Is like I always knew that person was out there. I always knew that Shaden was out there. I always knew that Kat was out there. I always knew that Ben was out there. It was just like the matter of finding them. So like I would have a best friend, and then I'd be like, this isn't them, but I would still be best friends with them. And every single best friend was the same cycle of I would want to communicate and be like, hey, why did you do this? Because I always knew, coming from the toxic, non-chosen family that I came from, I always knew that communication was the answer. Because that always, it's like, oh, we can both get perspectives, and then when you do that thing, I won't feel weird. It's because of such and such. And instead of them communicating with me, they would ignore it completely, wait a couple days, like not talk to me for a couple days, and then pretend like nothing happened. And eventually it would be to where I was so trapped with their bullshit, with their expectations, with their trauma, that I could not be me, and friendship was no longer worth it. Because everything I did was wrong. Everything. And just trapped. And so I would just leave. Like I would say the things over and over and over and over and over and over. And then I'd stay, for like a year or whatever, and then just leave. And so just kind of was like, yep, this is going to be my life. I'm preparing to just be alone, I guess.
Kate's always had pretty good boundaries. I had very little boundaries. Her boundaries are a little abrupt, used to be a little abrupt. She's healed a lot to let people in. I've healed a lot to keep people out.
Yes.
I was like trusting of everybody, always. And then they would fuck me up in that way. Because I would give them my everything.
And then like with significant others too, it's like I would meet somebody and then didn't know the dating was a thing. Like because in my head I'd be like, this isn't them, and because I was looking for Shaden, and so they'd like send me dick pictures, and I would draw monocles and top hats on them, and then send them back to them. Because I didn't know what they wanted me to do with them. What do you want me to do with your naked pictures? Like, I didn't know that they were trying to riz me and seduce me. So, like,
the way you dropped it so casually, like we just talked about this recently again, but holy fuck, it's so funny. It's so funny.
Like, what was the point? And so I never really saw a point in these relationships, like with a guy, because number one, I'm asexual, so it's like they couldn't isolate me. It was just like, okay, yep, gonna be alone. Even when a dude invited me over, a 31-year-old, whenever I was 18, invited me over to play video games. Do you think he wanted to play video games? Fuck no. I was an Aspergius 18-year-old. So I was like, you said we were going to play video games. So we played Guitar Hero. And then he was like, you want to watch a movie? And I was like, yeah. And so eventually we went to bed because he was like, do you want to leave or stay? And I was like, I sleepwalk, bro. And this is when I would sleepwalk. And I was like, I can't leave now because I already fell asleep and I'm going to sleepwalk. And he was like, that means she wants to fuck. And I was like, I said I would go to sleep. I said I would go to sleep. I just like, it was just great. It was just fucking great. So, yeah. Found Shaden and I was like, oh, this is them. Found
They
Kat,
met on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Kate and Shaden met on Xbox Live. He lived in Australia. She lived in Louisiana.
Yep. And
me, on the other hand, with that, I was always looking for the one, like, love interest, and that fucked me over a bunch. It wasn't until I healed that and no longer looked for the one, I was able to find someone that I actually enjoy life with.
And also, whenever I accepted that I was going to be alone forever, is when my husband came, because at that point, my family members had died. My father was dead. My stepfather was dead. And I was just like, everyone that was my favorite has died, or dying. And I was just like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and be alone. And that was me back then healing that. And
her now healing it.
Yeah. Me now healing back then. And once I was like, you know what? This is the kind of house that I want. Don't need it to include anybody else because I'm going to be alone. But like I want a cat. And, you know, I just set up my life to be alone. And then my husband came.
So the first session that we had together, I just want to talk about it because Kate sees spirit guides. That's what she is known for a lot on TikTok. You guys know her a little bit more now. But when she first started, that was all she like really posted about for the most part. And so I'm on the phone with her in this session, and she's talking to her guide. His name is Joseph. Yes, we have hundreds of them, but she's talking to this guide. I'm not saying that this is different than I've ever experienced. I am, because I can feel it. I don't see anybody. I could just feel it. And she's talking to this guide named Joseph, and Joseph, and I was like, so when you talk to Joseph, where is he? And she's like, oh, he's in this like little room and he's sitting in this chair. And I was like, is the chair a throne? And she's like, oh shit. Huh. Yeah, it is a throne. And he's got this cup. And I was like, is it a goblet? And she's like, oh yeah, it is a goblet. And I go, is it the Holy Grail? And she's like, oh fuck, he says it is. It is the Holy Grail. Huh, what do you know? And I was like, okay. And then I went like this. Hold on. I knew I needed my phone, but I didn't know why I needed it. Who's the fuck is calling me? Okay. Joseph Holy Grail. I'm on the phone with her, and I image search this. And I go, does your guide look like this?
And I was like, yeah, but he's Asian, and he has a really long mustache.
And I was like, we were trying to look at a life of like someone that a normal person would not want to look at, like a monstrous villainous life or whatever, like the worst traumatic whatever. And so Joseph was a little bit protective, kind of like going through, like, you got to go through the gauntlet if you want to help her with this. Like, there's only one person who can help her with this, basically. Well, not one, because I mean he could have too, the person that oversoul. So and Kate could have helped herself, but not at that time. And I was like, it's cool, I'm part of Lady of the Lake, bruh. Like, that's fine. So I energetically went into the little box, and I sat and I talked to them, and I was like, man, he does dad jokes. He's totally cool. Like, he is rad. He is ready to talk. And then he was fine with letting me help her with this, like, crazy life. And that was wild. I told the person that I did consider a mentor at the time,
who I had worked with beforehand and told everyone that I was full of shit with my seeing, because I saw so well. I was full of shit, and then it was two people that I worked with, and that
I used to vouch for, that we no longer work with or talk to.
And I was so full of shit because I could see and hear so well. So sorry, I had to.
And I was so excited. No, please do this.
Okay.
And I was so excited, and I was like, oh my god! And when she talks to her guide, like it's da 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 da, and the person was like, "That's not what spirit." It's so hard to do it without trying to do. Okay, that's not what I'm trying not to do accents. That's not what spirit.
That's not what spirit guides.
That's not what spirit guides sound like or look like. That sounds like an unhealed thing. And I was like, okay, right, yeah, because like spirit guides are supposed to be like all-knowing, magical. Right, cool, okay. And I was like, hey, Kate, have you ever considered that maybe it's a dead guy that you're talking to, like a ghost, instead of instead of a spirit guide? Maybe it's, maybe it's not that. And she's like, cool, let's try to cross him over. And then she tried to cross him over, and he turned into Adonis. And we were like,
hell yeah.
I guess. And we're like, cool. So now the guide has like leveled up. That's great. Went back to Joseph form, because it was just kind of like this. The best part of this is we went on many journeys with Joseph as the guide. It took us 2 years to figure out who Joseph was.
My fucking husband.
It's part of Shaden, her husband's oversoul. Right, yes, of course.
Yes, dad joke. Yeah, lady who likes bro. Oh my god. Bro, I haven't seen you in so long, bro.
He helped us with so much shit. And then also when Kate and I first started working together, I had a lot of... Kate was just like, yeah, whatever you want to look at, let's look at it. I had so many questions about like Battle of Revelations in the sky, because I was born and raised in the church. Kate was, went to church too, but she didn't. I was into it.
I was Asperger's.
Yeah, Kate was like, cool stories, bro. Whatever.
I thought they were telling really cool stories. I had no idea that they wanted us to feel guilt and shame for this. Had no idea the whole time.
Kate's like, so we go to this building.
Yes, and they tell stories and read out of this book, and everybody just agrees.
But I was like hella into it. Like I had punk rock goth friends that would literally wear like, all black and like vampire teeth. And I'd be like, if you want to hang out with me, you have to go to youth group with me. Like, because I'm there on Wednesdays. And if you want to park your car at our church, which is right behind the high school, you have to go to youth group. So they would. But anyway, I was like, okay, I need to know the Battle of Revelations, like what happened there. I need to know the Tree of Knowledge, like all the things that happened with that. What really happened with blah, blah, blah. And we'd ask in the very human way of this. And we'd ask Joseph at that time. I mean, like we still use spirit as a prompt back then, but we were asking Joseph to pretty much like, hey, man, help us out, show us. And he would basically be like, you're not ready for that, but like not in those kind of words. And we were like
he would say like, the way it is, it's not like you won't understand. It's like a, uncover more. And
I was like, I'm not scared. I can handle the truth. I want to know what really happened. Tell me what really happened. Bitch, it's not like anything that they fucking tell you in any religion, in any spirituality, anything. And then once we uncover the layers, we were like, oh, that's what he meant by we wouldn't fucking get it. Because our brain would not fucking comprehend what it actually is. And that was the beginning of the things.
Yeah, we had to uncover the layers to get to the layers, to get to the layers, to get to the layers.
So we had a thought of, like, after we tell these stories, like, this was, like, that was one story of the, basically, well, getting to know a little bit of, like, Kate that you guys haven't maybe heard of from before, which is my favorite thing. That's why she's my best friend. I fucking love it. But we thought, like, after we, discovering your spirit guide and then, like, the friendship kind of bring each other together thing, like, if you guys want those healings, you can have them, right? So how
Yeah.
would we phrase those? Should
What are
I
you
tell
talking
the
about?
whole should I tell the whole going manic situation with the 24th dimension before they accept it?
Oh, yeah, because that's all healed too. Like they don't have to go through that. And so,
Right.
so maybe like, or
To
yeah, telling it.
put it into perspective and make the healing click more.
And how it used to
Okay.
be.
So I have a thing that I was known for when I first started TikTok, which was the fear cord removal series. And what happened to me in like 2015 or 2016 is the fear cord got ripped, like literally ripped out of the back of my skull. I was managing at Pier 1 at the time. And it was at the end of my shift, and I was driving home. Luckily, my kids were already asleep. My mom was watching them at the time. And I started to hear like screaming, nothing but screaming. And I'm not like a clairaudience kind of person. I'm more of a knower and a feeler. And it was just nothing but screams. And it hurt a lot. So I was able to drive home. There wasn't a lot of traffic. It wasn't dangerous. And the kids were asleep. As soon as I got home, I didn't know what to do. I was panicking. I was freaking the fuck out. So I put on church music to try to go to sleep. I had already started my spiritual, like, dive into whatever. I'd already gotten Reiki certified. I didn't know what the fuck was happening to me. I tried to get a hold of people that I considered, that would know more, gurus or whatever. None of them knew what the fuck this was. I got in touch with someone who was a seer, and he was like, it looks like this cord, like your Abdullah Bangada, basically got ripped out of the back of your head. My middle child, who currently goes by Violet, was like 3 at the time. I was like, yeah, there's a hole in the back of your head. And I was like, okay, well, what's happening? They're like, oh, the men's, they're fixing it. They're patching it up. And I was like, what men are patching it up? Like, what is happening? And I'm like, the men, they're patching it up. That was a clue later as to all the things. So, okay. So in 2015, 16, whenever that happened, that's what was happening to me. The sphere cord got ripped out. I didn't know what the fuck had happened to me. I didn't know what it was, who had done it. I had no concept of like even someone wanting to attack me, nothing. I didn't know what was happening. I was manic as fuck. And I didn't know how to ground properly. I didn't know anything. And I was trying to figure it out, and I was feeling stuff. I was stuck in between 4 different dimensions. I didn't know what was happening. In Kate's world, she was just like, I think it's time for friends. So what was happening in the 24th dimension at that time that we did not know, we found out after we started working together, which came pretty quickly with us working together. So we did go look at Battle of Revelations in the sky, all that stuff. And on the 24th dimension, if you guys want to go up with us, we kind of give you a tour of it. Basically just say, take me to the 24th dimension. There were these caves, and it's the rejuvenation caves that are in the deep sleep rejuvenation meditation on YT. There were these caves, and it had these beings that were kind of like seraphim mixed with transformers, which
Hold
is
on really
basically
quick. I'm
what they
hearing
look like.
something in here. My life was not calm at this time. I just have no other way of putting it. It wasn't just me calm. Like, I guess I'm talking to someone in here. There's like people
Okay.
in here. It was more like everyone around me was dying, and I had just accepted it, and was, doing my airplane thing. It was really hard for me to exist. All I wanted to do was stay inside and play Call of Duty Zombies, so much so that I was like number 6 in the fucking world, and I did not want to exist outside of my house. And that's not what made me want friends, because like obviously if I can't exist outside of my house, I don't want friends. It would make them miserable too. It was just like me going to school, not being able to connect with anyone worth a fuck. And I was just like, it's time for friends. And then that's when, so I hope that clears it up for you, Jesse.
When we were up in this 24th dimension, actually before we went and found the caves, it was myself and Kate on the phone. And she was like, we need to go to the 24th dimension. There was someone else who had randomly said the 24th dimension. So for her to say the 24th dimension, I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Because I didn't know they went up to 24. I had no fucking clue. I didn't know how many there were. They go past that, but they're not worth mentioning. They're fluff up there, whatever. So we always say 24th to negative 24th, but we figured that out later. Or at least I did. Kate probably saw it right away and was just like, those don't fucking matter.
Yeah.
So we went up into this cave, and from my perspective, I had bandages all over my eyes, and I was sitting in what kind of resembled like a dentist chair. I was plugged up like Neo in the Matrix, and we were in this cave, and it was like drippy wet, and there were eyes all over the cave.
From what I remember, it was like a timer went off. And we later found out that it was us that set up that timer, duh. And it was, I was literally in my cave and was like, it's time. Walk, 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 walk. Put my foot on the back of Kat's back and ripped this cord out and started mending it with brick that we later had to heal to be human stuff. And then Kat was like, why did you mend it with brick? And I was like, humans weren't like that before. They
didn't used to be flesh and blood.
They didn't used to be like this.
So when I was sitting in that chair up in the 24th dimension, all time is now. There's not a time. I mean, there's an it's time. So Kate got a ding, but Kate is just big 24th dimensional, like big, huge, energetic form existing every day by herself, basically. But like there was no days, no concepts of days. But when we looked into it, she would sit across from me in this cave and like eat soup and stuff, but like not really, just energetically or whatever. And the reason I had bandages and stuff, they were crusty. They were like millions of years old because that thing that plugged me into our matrix, our 3-dimensional matrix. Like the human aspect. So my body and my brain had the amnesia and it was going through the process of just being fucking human stuck down here. And so Kate was just like, time for my buddy to wake up. I went fucking manic as fuck because it was ripping out that cord, just ripping it out. And me in my human body, not knowing her in the physical at all, not knowing anything about her. I didn't fucking know. And nobody knew what the hell it was. No one had even heard of it before. No one knew what was happening. And it's just
fucking awful.
Kate saying, it's time. So yeah, we were both not in great places. My ex-husband had just went to prison and we hadn't been divorced yet. And I was like a single mom of 2 at the time. And I wasn't working when he went away. And I ended up getting a job at Pier 1 as a manager, which didn't pay very much. I think it was like $10 an hour or something like that. And I had to work like 40 plus hours, probably 60, 80 hours a week or whatever. And yeah, it was a lot. That was a lot. But then we didn't know that we didn't know the 24th dimension. Like we didn't know how big of a part that would play for us. And again, it was years till we figured out, because I thought maybe I pulled the cord out of myself. I didn't know. It was years later that we found out, like put the puzzle pieces together. Do you remember how we started going up to see the 24th? Well, okay. Yep. What happened?
Okay. So it was me and someone else on the phone. And, they asked. You and I had already talked about it, but I hadn't seen this part yet. And they asked something about going up there. And this was somebody that we don't work with anymore. And I did not want to, that form of me obviously healed, knew not to tell them anything about this place. And so I was like, yeah, there's these caves, blah, blah, blah. And ended up talking to Kat about it later, after me and this person saw this cave. And, not me and this person. I saw it. Yeah. Because I didn't want to, at the time I didn't know why, but I did not want to tell them about this place because we would have had to do a lot of intense energy vampire cleanses to it.
They're the reason we came up with the intense energy vampire cleanse.
And so I worked with this chick, and I was like telling her how to do it or whatever. It was a session, but it was like free. Like I was just talking to this chick, and then I texted.
It was the other person's session. It wasn't. Kate wasn't giving sessions at the time. This other person was.
No. I wanted to help this person that we were friends with. Like all of us were friends with.
Okay.
And so I did over the phone, and I texted
We used to just randomly work with whoever, text, phone. We would just be like, world healing, fucking let's fucking go. We don't do that anymore. We do in the Guided Adventures, and it's like a nice group that actually cares and works on themselves too, which is really important. These people were not healing themselves. And we were just like,
yes, they want it.
Like, if they want to heal the world, let's fucking go. They were not. They would be like, no, I don't want to look at my own stuff. I'd rather just disassociate.
I'd rather look at everyone else. Everyone else is the problem, not me.
Yes, it was that.
And so I remember going to that place again, and then texting you and be like, hey, I'm at blah, 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 blah. And then you got on the phone, and I started telling you about it. And I was like, you go up to the sand, which we now know is the sands of time. And I was like, and I see this crown on the ground. And I know that when I go to this crown on the ground, all I have to do is look around, and their cave will be right there.
Whoever's
cave will be right there.
Part of the 12 over souls, but we didn't know there were 12 at the time because we literally had to line them up on the thing and count them. Like, we didn't know any of that shit.
So
we also didn't know because of, the gross spirituality stuff. This part, like, I literally thought that maybe the people that we had worked with were the other seraphim. Like, I didn't understand that all of us are. I didn't understand that all of us are co-gods, co-creators. I mean, I knew we were co-creators, but if you're experiencing going the 24th fucking dimension and you're merging in with like a seraphim form, you're like, there was one person, we tried to help him, and he would not, he wouldn't merge because he was like, that's too holy for me. That's too holy for me. I can't be that. And all of us are. Everybody is. So, but like, there were certain people we got a ding to work with that we were, helping or whatever at the time, because it was to unlock and the puzzles, whatever. Anyway, go on.
And then, I was telling you about that. And then we were working with another.
Only Kate could see the crowns in the sand.
Oh, that's right. Yes, because
she would go, and then we would have to say, "Take me to where Kate is." Was not. It should have been an indicator to us that we should not be working with this person or the people that we were helping. It wasn't. We were just like, "This is how it goes. This is what we're supposed to do."
I was so like, I will not tell them how I got here. I will not tell them what I'm seeing. Here's your cave. I would say look to the left. I'd be like, look to the left, because I didn't want to do anything with that. Like, I wanted them to go in their cave. They can do the thing, and I was like, all right, now walk forward.
We have always been about helping people see their truth, not telling them their truth. So we guide, and we'll be like, now look to the left. Now, what do you see? Mm-hmm. Now, what is that? Now, on the podcast, like, we will be like, hey, it looks like this. Why are you like this? We have changed a lot. But back then, we were very much like, we're not telling you shit. Mm-hmm. You have to see it or feel it, and we will confirm, or we will tell you that's not what we're seeing or feeling, and we'll figure out why the fuck it doesn't match.
And so they would go into their cave, and me and Kat would just guide them and be like, oh, well, I'm seeing this blah, blah here. And Kat would be like, I'm feeling this blah, blah here. And we did that for so many people. And then we worked with...
these seraphim that you merge in with, it's like basically like think of it as like an orphan. Okay, you would go in, it was like an orphan, the circular orphanims, whatever, the spheres. Do you have one? Like that. Oh, that's why this deck looks like this. It's covered in oil and metal and stuff. Because we would go in. You can't see it with your fucking background. So we'd go in and they'd have to sit in a chair basically inside that. And it was a little like the color black, like literal color black baby. And they would have to,
it was crazy.
Ink black. And they would have to merge in with that and it would activate it. And then the wheels would start spinning, but they would be all fucked up. And Kate's an aircraft mechanic, so it was like an alien, like body angel thing. And so Kate, I was like, oh, that makes sense why you have to be here, Kate. That makes sense.
Work on the things.
Because again, we didn't realize everybody was, but we still didn't feel like we were any different than the ones we were helping. So we were just like, I don't know why you're here. Oh, I don't fucking know.
We were just very much doing the things.
Yes, just doing the things. And we're like, oh, okay, fucking that's why you have to be here. And then Kate would like be like, okay, well, this gear is stuck and this has fucking, and then Kate would be like, it was a few in where it was like, these parts don't match. Why don't these parts match? They're not the right color.
And they make noises. Your parts don't make noises.
And it was very, very that. It was really weird. And these caves were like, this was basically after the, what the closest we could say is the Battle of Revelations. And everybody was beat to shit and they went into their cave and went down to, like, their souls left and went down to earth. That's why there's no fallen angels, because nobody got punished. They all literally
willingly
went. And also Kate didn't have a fear cord. And she was like, I don't know why I don't have one. I was like, that's fucking weird. Everybody has one. And then we discovered she was the one that was up there that didn't leave, that didn't go back to Earth.
I sacrificed myself
to stay. Oh yeah. And then even to leave.
Yeah. And so I had to break contracts with that. And get understanding and clarity on that and why.
Also, mind you, you could be the same oversoul as Kate. You can be the same oversoul as me. You could be the same oversoul. There's only 12 oversouls. So if any of this is I think that feels like I understand or I can feel that or see that, you're probably same. We just happen to be the ones on the phone fucking doing the fucking things.
And how everything with the fear cord thing correlates is I didn't know that fear was even a thing. My parents were absent a lot, so I didn't get taught a lot of social things. So I would just drive on mountains at night. We drove to Alaska. I didn't see any problem with doing it, going on boom lifts up 177 feet in the air. I didn't on aircraft. I never. It was never a thing for me to be scared until somebody told me about it.
Twin flame isn't real.
No such thing.
Another topic.
Yeah, that's
another topic. We had to heal that because I was stuck in it. It's not real. I promise you, we've looked at every fucking angle. When I say we've looked at every fucking angle of it, it's not real. Now there are ceremonies.
We speak from experience. We never speak from a fucking guru book, whatever the fuck.
There are fucking ceremonies where you agree and you lock your shit in, but when you're birthed from the same soul spark, there is no beginning of time. That did not happen. Same oversoul, sure, but millions of people are. And then that whole thing of we're the same energetic frequency. No, because your frequencies go like this daily. You can't be the same energetic frequency as fucking anybody else unless you accidentally happen
to intertwine, and which is again a contract or a interweaving.
It took us a long time to speak as matter of facts also, but 1,000,000%. It's not real. Even with Kate saying she knew that person was out there, she didn't think of it as her divine counterpart. It was just
found him. It was
Shaden.
Found him.
It was just Shaden.
It wasn't it was oh, the one I've been looking for. Very blunt and flat.
That's how it was
magical.
When I worked with Kate, I was looking for you for 2 years. And we also found out when I moved down to Tampa, when I moved down, I was taking a 2-hour commute drive because the office offered me that I worked for offered me $25 an hour, and I had never worked for $25 an hour. I was like, hell, fuck yeah, 2-hour commute back and forth. I don't care. I will take it. But I saw lots of clouds, and I was literally seeing clouds shaped like big ass fucking airplanes.
Hey guys.
And like the Anubis sarcophagus, which she's a soul fragment of that too, just really fucking funny that she was like, this way, cat, right here. And I didn't know. I was just like, look at this sky.
Sky looks cray today.
Oh, so good.
That's great. And yeah, and through all of this, we've learned that we're each other's spirit guides since fucking birth.
You're muted.
I'm muted?
Okay. Muffled.
Oh, okay. So yeah, through all of this, we have like found that we've been each other's spirit guides since fucking birth and throughout lifetimes. And
But again, there are only 12 oversouls. So all the oversouls can be on your spirit guide. That's another thing, or your spirit team. But it's who you listen to and what portion of them. So like the angelic or ancient Egyptian form of your brother, you might take advice from him. And then, you know, if he doesn't give great advice, it's probably the physical form of him that you're still listening to. Like, that's another topic too. But yeah. But we were like each other's spirit guide, not just a form of us, like each other. But we set that up later in life too. Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't just, you know, bestowed or whatever. We had to go back and like make it happen. And also in past lives, we were always like, okay, let's find our people. All right, Kate, Shaden, Ben. All right, cool. All right.
Got it.
So it wasn't like we've had all these lifetimes together. Like there were plenty that we didn't know each other. And we're just like, you know what would help in this situation? Friends.
Knowing each other.
I kind of need the skill set that person has. Let's fucking find them.
And yeah, so that's kind of, it's always, well, I say always, it'll be blunt and flat. There's the magic and stuff like that. Like, yeah, there was like spark and magic, but not like that.
Oh, with Shaden?
Oh, no, with meeting you.
Oh.
It was like
oh my God.
But it was a different type. It wasn't like a magnetization, oh my God. It was like
she blocked me.
Yes. So that's another thing that has been layered. Fucking layered. So many things.
She blocked me on TikTok, guys.
Do I go into it?
You can.
Okay. So I had found a certain person first. I can't remember. Oh. And then like I was just chilling with them. Found Kat. And then chilled, whatever. Then this person, something happened. I don't know if they started calling you crazy yet. I don't know. It was something like that. And then put spells.
Yeah, the same person that like literally put the label of crazy on me was the one who took it away.
So they like put shit on Kat. And
we found out years later.
Yeah. And so like obviously I fell for it, and then I kept seeing Kat on duets, and this was
with
me
other
healing
people.
The thing. Yeah, and this was me healing the things now.
So it showed up on our For You page like, surprise, shawty.
Hey. And that was me now breaking out of all that shit because healing, and being like, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, whenever I first saw Kat, I remember it being scary too, or not scary. It was I go because I was seeing everything all at once. So that was weird. It was like a bunch of different layered things. Like
So Kate's quick to block. She don't give a fuck. You talk about something she doesn't want to hear. She don't even know you. Block. She don't give a fuck. She doesn't do not interested. She just blocks you. I'll send her a video and she'll be like, I can't see it. I probably blocked them. Like, what about them did you block? I don't fucking know.
I probably talked about the weather.
I don't fucking know. Yeah.
But yeah, not anymore, I will say. But yeah, at that time, it was very much like a fuck. It was a lot.
We have like 15 minutes left. Do you want to go into Moldavite and all the fucking things we saw?
Oh my God.
I don't think we've ever like told all the stories about it.
How long did it last? Not very long.
For me, fucking lifetimes. I hated that shit. So my first experience was not before it showed up all over TikTok or whatever. It's been healed. Just letting you know, like everything we're saying, don't be like, oh my God, I'm going to throw my Moldavite away. Listen to this. Okay. And it was really difficult because we didn't know what to fucking do about this. This is a touchy fucking subject for a lot of people. And like when we did speak about it, it was really bad. So I would have a session with someone and my skin would literally be burning, like, like red burning as if like a magnifying glass was on me or whatever the fuck. And I was just like, what the fuck is that? Like, why is what is this? Are you like in the hot sun? Like, what is this? Do you have metal on? And they'd be like, oh yeah, I carry Moldavite. Like I wear a Moldavite necklace. And I was like, oh, that's fucking weird. Will you do me a favor? Will you take it off just to see? And I'd be like, yeah, the burning stopped. Like it stopped. And I was like, oh, okay. So it would be run-ins like that. I never physically touched it. I would energetically, it would be burning the fuck out of my skin. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit? The first time we saw that it was a really big issue was healing World War II stuff. Right?
Yeah, and that's whenever I got rid of the bumps on my skin. By the way, healing, healing my World War II life. I don't know if y'all know what chicken skin is. All right here. I had it my whole life, and then all of a sudden it went away. So, just saying, healing, it does things. It helps.
Healing is good.
Healing's good.
So in World War II, we saw, they would talk about like putting like fluoride in the water or chlorophyll or stuff like that. They were injecting people with the liquefied Moldavite. And it was very popular on TikTok because everybody was starting to not just make it a dancing app. They were all talking about their spiritual awakening and how great it was. And when people would get this glass from the meteor, they would freak the fuck out. They'd be like, it's so intense. And if you can't handle it, then that means like you just can't handle it. You guys, it'll throw you into a whirlwind of fucking, and it was like, cause it's making you sick, bro. It's poisoning you. It's making you fucking sick. And they're like, you probably just can't handle the power of it.
That obviously, make it that it was just so powerful that everybody else was weak and it was the best thing for you.
And it was like, cool. Okay. And we saw it was in the food. It was in they were using it for poison, and then they made it popular when everybody started to go through like their, what you would call the awakening. And it was so popular and so expensive and so rare, and you couldn't handle it. It had my precious energy. Like every time we ran into it, it was used to like hurt people. One of the things, what's that fucking company, the brand that has the models? That's not enough. Yes, that is enough information. Uh-huh. So Balenciaga was injecting it into their models, making those mannequins. And then I would be on the phone with Kate and just be like frozen. My kid, I don't want to talk about too much about kids like with things, but my kid, my middle child, who actively chose to help heal stuff, by the way, all of a sudden was walking and just froze. And didn't know, what we were talking about or whatever. I posted recently, it came up on these days about like having injection marks in me when I was sleeping, but we had already healed it and made it to where it didn't fucking do anything. We had to find its opposite. Usually the opposite.
I remember that I didn't want to tell the person what it was.
What the opposite was?
Yep, because I was like, okay, opposite. Oh, that's what it is? And I was infusing the Moldavite with the opposite of it, and then I didn't want to tell them what it was.
She was infusing it in me because I was like, that was another thing strapped down on the ship on the 12th dimension of that GFL bullshit.
It was malachite, by the way, I guess.
It is. Malachite is the opposite of it. Which, if you look at what malachite does, is what they say that Moldavite does. Whatever. So the opposite of it actually helped it out. So it's all good. It all works now. Everything's fine. There's nothing dangerous about it. But to show you guys, so you can see for yourself, because there's still Moldavite damage from your body, even if you never touched the stuff before. So say if it's in my highest good.
I had never touched it, and I still had damage.
If it's in my high, because it seeped into our food, it seeped into everything. If it's in my highest good, please activate and apply. Oh, yours and mine.
Okay.
Kate and Kat's Moldavite damage removal healings, conducive to what I need in my physical form.
Already, stones are just a aid in what you can already do. So I just want to point that out. They said that I'm seeing videos about another stone that is more powerful than Moldavite, but less chaotic than it's you.
Yeah, I got tagged in it, and I told they were like, I need your opinion on this, because they've been around for a long time, and they're like, what do you think of this one? And I was like, ask to be infused with it and see what it does for you. Also, everything that it does, you can naturally already do. If you want to connect with your, feminine divinity, ask to merge with that. If you want to deliver like Medusa energy, deliver divine justice to your abuser, just fucking deliver divine justice to your abuser. There is nothing wrong with having rocks, crystals, tactile. There is nothing wrong with it. Do whatever the fuck you want with it. But we're about like, what's a free alternative that's more potent? Yourself. So yeah, that was a crazy journey. And I had a session with someone, and I was talking to her. It was a young lady, and I was like, hey, like halfway through it, I was like, hey, are you like, do you do drugs? And they were like, no. And I was like, there's something going on with the like right hemisphere of your brain. And they were like, well, I meditate with Moldavite on my third eye. And I was like, this is before we had neutralized it. And I was like, fuck. I was like, okay. I was like, do I have your permission to have a friend look at it? And they were like, oh yeah, absolutely. But it was an intense session. It was really slow and hard to talk to them. And
which that's how our healing used to be. Slow.
I asked Kate, I was like, hey Kate, would you mind looking at this for me? And Kate's like, half of their brain is rotted out. Like it's just rotted. And I was like, Moldavite. And she was like, fuck. So then she went in and did the work for that person. And I was like, I can't do this anymore, Kate. I can't. You and I work every single day for hours to try to help whoever wants it. We don't overstep, and we don't do things if it's, for other people. Like, that's not our fucking business. Like, if someone wants to sit in their own shit, if they want to be a miserable fucking asshole, that's their choice. We can help, we can give the tools, but we're not going to heal someone for them, because to us, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, like what if they don't want to heal?
Right. It's like someone praying over you. Like, I didn't fucking ask you to do that. Don't touch me. Like, we don't pray and send like light and love to anybody. Like, we don't fucking touch people. We do stuff in the back end if they want it, and to the other like stuff around it that isn't a person. But I was like, Kate, I don't know if I can run into this stuff over and over again for, more months while everybody raves about it. It makes me sick. So many people are getting sick and they don't know. Like, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know. Oh, it's fine now. It's a long story. This podcast will be next week's episode. It took 15 minutes to tell, so sorry, not going to. No, Kate and I both did. But so I was like, is it possible that I can just, because I don't want to take this stone, like people use it. And they use it for negative and they use it for whatever they think is positive. So I don't want to take that away from them, but is there a way that we can do what we do to us when it's in us to it directly? There was also a cave. There were caves. I would get on sessions with people stuck on the phone. Literally, there was bodies inside the caves, inside the meteor itself, stuck there, frozen, not even dead, stuck, like could not, paralyzed, almost petrified, but not. It was stuck in time, could not move. Also, the aliens that got broken free, they had Moldavite cages too. So that was insane. I knew right away what that shit was. So I had a big thing about that. I wouldn't fucking touch that stuff. I was like, hey, Kate, I can't after working with this girl and half her brain was rotted, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And Kate's like, well, I mean, it looks like you can neutralize it. And I was like, okay, well, what do you think? And she's like, well, looks like we're doing it. So we went in and we went to all the active, like around Moldavite in the world and neutralized it with its exact opposite, which is malachite. And then I made a video that was exactly the same energy, feeling, and look as my 8-part fear chord series. It might have even had the same background. It was the same feeling. And it was like, I'm so sorry, guys. Because at that time, I was just using my TikTok as like a diary, talking to the same people that came to my page every day. And I was like, I know a lot of you guys like it or whatever, but it was just too much. Worked with this girl, her brain rotted. I didn't know what else to do. So I neutralized Moldavite, all the Moldavite in the world. I was the laughing stock of TikTok.
Oh, they were so fucking mad. Oh.
They were so mad at me for doing a thing
that they didn't believe that could be done.
We could do.
And then,
like, how are you going to be mad at me for doing something that you don't think that I can do? Really weird. And I can go back to that series and see some of the people that interact with me today are in the comments back there, like laughing at me. And I've seen it before, and I kind of want to be like, hey, remember when you? But I don't.
Wear Moldavite?
And it was lots of like, girl, who are you? And I was like, here is a phrase to help you have, cat's Moldavite damage removal healing. You just say this, it'll pull it out of you. It would pull it out of anybody, even people who had never touched the stuff.
Which was
and
me.
we had to neutralize it back on the timelines and before World War II, everywhere. It was not just used there, it was used in multiple wars, we ran into it fucking everywhere. 12th dimension, like all the fucking, we ran into that shit everywhere. And it was like, enough. I can't do this, enough. Posted that series, laughing stuff. God, fuck, they fucking hated me. They hated me. Even with the healing that showed that it worked. And then people stopped talking about it on TikTok. So
it just became like a not thing anymore.
And it was like, it neutralized it everywhere. And I ran into it again in a session, and I was like, is this really weird? It didn't burn me. It didn't hurt. Because I was talking to Kate after, and I was like, my client had it on, and it like smelled like cat piss. And she's like, because you pissed all over that shit, bitch. Like, the concept of it, I was like, oh, well, fuck. Well, fuck. It would cause sickness in people who had never heard of it before. It was like in the water, in the food, like they knew what it was. That's why they pushed it so hard.
Naomi, oh my god, baddie move though. Absolutely.
I think that's when I started losing kind of who I was and stepping into trying to prove myself, was during that time, instead of just like, oh my god, we had a crazy night. Woo! Let me tell you about the phone call that Kate and I had. It was wild. And, people were like, either they were like, this girl's crazy, or they would watch, or people would block me, whatever. But that fucking situation is when I was like, I have to prove that I'm not crazy. I have to, whatever. I had to go back and heal that shit a lot too.
And then through this time, I remember lots of people that we worked with, like, leaving and, like, and I was
running our names through the mat.
Yeah.
All the people we helped for free, constantly with whatever they needed at a drop of a hat.
Talking shit about us.
Also, when we were talking about the shape of the earth or that space was ocean, they started to fucking leave too.
And then that rocks were trees, the giant mountains.
Yes.
The rocks
petrified.
were trees. Used to be trees. Oh my god. You would think that we said that they, I don't know, fuck their dad.
And then the person that cleared my name, but also started the label, would make things saying that this was stupid. This is not real. It's like they would support us, but also say that don't believe any of this stuff because it's bullshit. And it's like, No, it's not. And they knew it wasn't. They could see it.
And then they would treat me like I was dumb and then ask me for help and then be like, man, you've helped me a lot. Like, I'll only go to you or I'll only go to Kat. But it would be like you're fucking stupid and I'm going to try to make you feel like I only go to you. And I'm very fucking Aspergius, so I'm just like, I don't know what this means. Okay.
Yeah, because they were trying to, like, butter you up.
Like, trying to manipulate me for whatever the fuck.
They did it to everybody, though. So if you happen to know who I'm talking about, you probably had a relationship with them like that, too, where they were like, I give you free sessions, or text you every 3 months, or, whatever the fuck. They didn't want anybody to rise above them, kept them down, and it was a lot to clean off. At the end of November, beginning of December, we started to unravel it all, and it was a shit ton. Luckily, we had pulled our stuff back. Luckily for us, not necessarily for them.
Even people that we would work with, though, like that group, the two sets of groups, I would always be like in the background, not knowing what I'm talking about to them, but then they would like secretly text me and be like, "Hey, I have this going on." But then,
don't see her worth, but would ask her for help.
Yeah, and that went on for years. So that was incredible.
Yeah. Anyway, we've been through a lot. That is chronicles of us kind of getting to know each other, and some healing adventures, and some of the crazy backstories that I wanted to hear. Kate talk about a lot. So. Yeah,
it was good.
It was fun. Maybe we like having guests on and helping them out, but maybe we'll do another round of this. It's fun.
As fuck.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Oh, wait, I want to talk to you guys about something. So we had an idea, but we don't know if you guys would want to do it. We thought about possibly doing like a game show kind of thing, and like having 5 people like on the screen, and we will be like, wait, I want to use the examples that you used. Hold on. So I asked Ben, I was like, okay, Ben, I can't even fucking remember. I was like, so you are fine with driving, and then at age 18, you all of a sudden can't drive and you're terrified of it. What healing do you need to do? And he was like, look at a past life. And I was like, correct. That's what you need to do. Woo! And then I was like, okay, so I don't know, asking this, like, what healing do you need to do? And whoever would win would get a point, and at the end of the live, they'd get a prize. We have some prizes for you guys. And Kate, do you remember your example?
I don't.
Kate said, right, and then I could ask them, okay, you're driving down the road and your tire falls off, and then you're swerving into traffic, and you land in a lake. What do you do? I was like, Kate, what the fuck?
You get this life-threatening wreck, and then you skid off the road, go into the lake. What do you do? Besides, be traumatized.
Oh, God. It was really funny. I was like, no, that's not what I meant. We want to do this, and we thought that it would be fun, but we also know that you guys, like, under pressure will be like, I don't want to participate. Like, I want to watch that, but I don't want to participate because what if I get it wrong? And then no guilt. We just literally want to play this game, and we thought it would be fucking fun, but we channeled that none of you would all of you would want to watch it. None of you would want to do it.
None would want to play out of fear of looking silly or not good enough or whatever.
Or they'd been with us for years and like I don't know, and then they panic. So
phone a friend. Yes, you get 3 lifelines.
But if we can get like 5 people who are ballsy enough to do it, it would be fun and it would be entertaining, and you will win a prize.
Yeah, Lisa said I would do it.
Right on.
Hell yeah.
So I'll figure out how to get people to sign up for that and make it happen. But if you do, you have to fucking be here. Because we're not going to start a live and just sit here for 20 minutes going, okay, is anybody going to join?
Yeah, anybody want to come up? Anybody okay?
Yeah, I'm not going to fucking do that. If you want any of the healings or the story times that we worked in, your version of it, since there are only 12 oversouls, so you can get a better concept of it, say if it's in my highest good, Please merge me with this form or version of me. Exchange me information with them. Calibrate us. Disconnect us. Anchor us back into the correct dimensional forms. You want, are you awake enough to do the close-ups?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
All right. Spirit of it's in my highest good. Please activate the close-up / sign-offs to all this. The calibration healings to all this. The alignment healings to all this.
If she goes too fast, just say it in your head. It's totally fine.
Oh, yes. The merging healings to all this. The timeline healings to all this. The dust-off healings to all this. The timeline sew-up healings to all this. Please close the book on all dead timelines and all dead versions of me. Speed this up. The sensory overload healing to all this. The blowout healing to all this. The burnout healing to all this. And the brain aneurysm healings to all this. Ripple healings, yeah, and speed this up. And please copy and paste all of this to all forms and versions of me that need it. Throughout time, space, spaces in between, all dimensions and forms, up, down, left, right, side to side, front to back, conducive to what they each need. Speed that up. Secret secure that down. Spirit of it's in my highest good, please undo anything and everything that we have done here that was either not done in the highest good or not supposed to be done.
I also want to make note, we still, even after everything we've seen and done, and even more so now, we don't have a thing that says there's good guys or bad guys. It's not us versus anybody else. It's not like the government versus us or us versus them or even the people we no longer work with. It's the people, not the oversouls, that we stop working with. It's the people that have unhealed trauma that do shitty shit. If you don't heal your trauma, it will seep out fucking everywhere. And so Kate and I are constantly looking at ourselves, healing ourselves. And that's why our friendship lasts. That's why. And we've done,
We make it last.
Yeah, and we've done stuff that people, it hurt their feelings, made them cry, and they thought of us as the bad guy in that scenario, and that's fine. But they didn't want to look at it. They didn't want to look at it, and we did. And that's why, even the Moldavite thing, if they think that they're helping mankind by doing something, but don't put themselves in check, that's going to cause fucking bad guy energy all day long. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
Heal the world.
Thank you for doing this, Kate.
This is so much fun. Thank you for suggesting it.
Oh my god. Okay. Bye, guys.
Don't forget to disconnect, guys. Don't forget. I got too excited. Don't forget to disconnect, guys.
Bye.
I love you. Bye.